What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Crew 2. And well, as y'all know, it is Wednesday, which means the new summit is now live. And for this week, guys, we have the agency. I really do think this summit's honestly going to be pretty fun. I would say for me personally, though, one of the biggest highlights of this summit is actually seeing the Nighthawk edition return into the game. I think that is awesome. Definitely stay tuned later this week for that bike. My goodness, guys, this bike's definitely worth getting. It's honestly probably one of the best motocross bikes in the entire game. But taking a look at this summit though, in Platinum we have the agency tire. I would say on some of the cars this is probably going to look pretty awesome. Maybe on something like the Reventon or something like that. I cannot wait to see what it will look like. And then in gold we have a legendary half set boosted for the monster trucks. I would actually say, guys, considering this as a Nitro Chemist set, it's definitely going to be worth going after. But moving over to next week's summit, Brawn vs Beauty is going to have the Ferrari F12 TDF. I'm actually really happy to see this car return, even though I actually never see anyone use it. I'm going to have some fun trying out this car again. I will also be doing a video as well, so definitely stay tuned for that, most likely on Saturday. And then in gold we have the Ford Mustang GT, which most players, including myself, are probably never going to use this car, but if you guys do own the Ford Mustang GT, you will luckily get the money back for that. And then in silver, we have the legendary half set for the motocross bikes. Considering the lovely Nighthawk edition is coming back, this might actually be worth going after, even though some of the perks on these is probably not the best, but having ventilated on a motocross bike, guys, is actually insanely useful. And then taking a look at the Brawn vs Beauty Summit here, guys, I do think a lot of players are going to like this one. And then moving over to the Brawn vs Beauty Summit here with that beautiful Ford GT on the cover. Like the other summits, guys, you also get to drive the Ferrari. Do keep in mind, though, it's obviously going to be base level with no pro settings, so it's probably not going to be the funnest thing to drive, but luckily we're not going to have any annoying escapes in this one either. If I had to guess, though, I would probably say the drift event's going to be the most annoying one for many players. For one, I do know the drifting in this game is probably not a lot of people's favorite, and the Mustang GT is going to be pretty interesting if you haven't driven it, but overall, I do think this summit is going to be pretty fun, and I really can't wait to see what they do for episode 2, because so far, guys, season 8 is pretty dang awesome. Moving over to the agency summit here, starting off with the buoy smashing, guys, I actually decided to run the Vector V40R. Don't get me wrong, you could probably run the offshore and or like the Demon on this one. Funnily enough, I had an insanely bad start on this and I still managed to get 154,000 points. I would definitely say you can easily run a different boat if you would like to. I really do find these buoy smashes to be insanely easy depending on the boat that you do run. I actually decided to run the Vector V40R on the Slalom as well. If you guys wanted to, you once again could easily use the Demon on this one. Luckily, the Vector V40R is still going to be an insanely good option with that handling. And then finally, guys, the last skill is going to be another Slalom. Before this, it's going to be an off-road one, so you know what that means. I actually decided to use the Koenigsegg Regera. My friend did actually use a street vehicle as well, so you can definitely mix it up, especially on this slalom. I would actually say this is going to be one of the easiest ones in the entire game. You could even run like a monster truck and or like a drift vehicle on this one. I really do find it insanely fun to mix it up, but moving over to the first event, though, is going to be a Demolition Derby race. Do not worry, guys, it's not going to be one of those really annoying Demolition Derby events. I do know a lot of players honestly hate those, but for this one, I actually decided to use the Fender Firenze. You can also use the Frontera as well. I would say both of these cars are going to be great options. Do not worry, by the way, guys, you also don't have to score insanely well on this one. The scoring on these events do seem to be on the forgiving side, which I would say is going to make a lot of players happy, especially due to the fact that you do have to race a Demolition Derby car. If you guys do have a Nitro Chemist set, I would definitely recommend throwing that on there. It does honestly make a difference, even though your nitrous goes away so dang fast on the Demolition Derby cars. But now moving over to the next event is going to be a Motocross Stunt event, where you get to drive the Nighthawk edition, so I would say upon upon first glance, a lot of these stunt events do seem to be kind of annoying, but there is going to be a very easy trick to this one if you guys would like to know. All that you will have to do on this is to basically wheelie as much as you possibly can. Luckily, the Nighthawk edition is going to be a very good option for this. If you guys were wondering, if you are running manual, which gears you should be in to wheelie, I noticed being in third gear and or fourth, you can normally pick the bike up very easily. And if you guys are in fourth gear, just drop a gear and basically lean back on that analog stick and you basically should be good to go. One thing I was noticing though is if you guys do tend to get a really big combo, for me I noticed I wasn't actually getting the score every single time, so that's definitely going to be on the frustrating side, but luckily the Nighthawk is insanely good. And then moving over to the next event is going to be a street race. And for this one, you guys will be able to use the Jaguar E-Type. What's kind of hilarious is on every single commercial I've ever seen for these cars, I always hear this being pronounced as Jaguar, and then some people say Jaguar, so I guess it's going to be like tomato, tomato, but this race is honestly going to be insanely easy. And with this car being a 4-speed, I thought it was going to be kind of annoying. But to be honest, guys, the Series 1 Roadster definitely shocked me a bit. I really do think that car is actually going to be pretty decent overall. And then moving over to the next event is going to be the Washington USST race. And for this, you get to drive the lovely Ford Mustang GT, which is a pretty interesting looking touring car if I do say so myself. Overall though guys, I would say the car isn't going to be terrible, especially after the handling update. I'm not gonna lie though, I can most likely do slightly better on this event. But to be honest guys, I'm really not aiming on trying to be the best on all these events though. I also like to show players that you don't have to be perfect in order to get into platinum. That's also why on a lot of these runs you guys definitely see me crash pretty often. I'm not gonna lie, I'm definitely not going to be the best driver out there. But moving over to the next event though is going to be a Rallycross stunt race. And for this one I decided to run the Chevrolet Camaro RS. By far guys, this is not going to be the best option, but I really do like running these oddball vehicles to see how you can do. I still managed to get 130,000 points, which to be honest I would say that's by far easily going to be enough on something like this, even with a very odd vehicle like the Camaro. But moving over to the last event guys is going to be a drift stunt event. That's right, you probably heard one of the most weird events we've ever had, and for this one you actually have to use a drift car, so I actually decided to use the Lamborghini Aventador because I have a build for this car that's basically set up for like races, which is probably not going to make a lot of sense considering it's a drift car, but overall guys, this car is actually going to be insanely good, but you can easily run any of the drift cars if you would like to. There is going to be an area in this event where you can basically drift around in a circle. I gained most of my points from that place there, but one thing I was noticing similar to the motocross event as well is sometimes if you guys get a big combo, I noticed it actually didn't count, which was honestly kind of frustrating, but overall I do think a lot of players are going to like this summit, even though many people are most likely not going to be the biggest fan of these stunt races. I really do think the biggest highlight of this summit is by far going to be that XC Nighthawk edition, but again guys, let me know if you have any questions at all in the comments below. Let's jump right into this.